All right, and welcome back to the Bay of Stars for the final time. This was my 1.18 plus base where we abandoned everything that we had done previously in the hardcore world and started over in brand new chunks. The reason this place is called the Bay of Stars, at least by the pirates who live here, is because of these conduits that are floating above the water. I love this effect where you can have a conduit way above water and it still affects you even if you're underwater or anything else like that. So we had several of them that we had set up throughout the bay. So we had perfect conduit coverage. We also have perfect beacon coverage as well. But that was the name derived by the Revelry. The end state of this also, if I got to that point, is since we have shaders on, you can take a bottle of experience. I'm going to throw that in there so it breaks. And those glow. And the whole idea was going to be to have a button that we could push that would fire off a whole bunch of dispensers that would give this, like, I don't know how to describe it, firefly effect, or just kind of some bioluminescent, like a bioluminescent algae plume that would happen throughout the bay. So we'd have all sorts of dispensers that would fire off bottles, and they would be broken immediately, and all of the experience orbs would float up to the surface with the ability to let us just have this kind of cool visual detail or serene moment around the space and be able to just have this. They would last for about 5 minutes. It would be a little laggy, especially with shaders on. If you turn the shaders off, you lose the effect entirely. So you have to have it with the shaders on. But it looks wonderful, and I love this combination. And that was going to be something we were going to do, but unfortunately never came to pass. This is our pillager friend that we were trying to pacify. They were going to become a bartender up inside the tavern space, but that never happened, which is a bit of a bummer. This is the layers. This is the whole idea of this, is that this is kind of an ancient city or an ancient civilization, a lot more civilized, a lot more technologically capable. And oh boy, I forgot how much of a mess, how much of a goblin I was with all of these chests. But the whole idea of the city was that it would be, while ancient and kind of a little older, a little more mysterious, you'd be wondering why there was all these tiers carved up, why the houses were all colorful. There was almost sort of a class system to it. The structures get nicer the higher up you go, including these three main houses which were going to be built, which were actually like 2-tiered houses that I never actually got to finishing. The whole idea for them was basically these three, they'd be called the high houses. They were the leading ruling families of this city specifically. And then there was this tower up here, which is called the Moon Tower. It's called the Moon Tower by the pirates who live here now, but it was called something else at the time. And it had this kind of broken, almost pseudo conduit shape that was just smashed, and this tower was collapsed, and part of it was going to be into the mountainside over there that I never got to. And I hid cats underneath here because I need to do it this way. This is the creeper farm that I built, the massive, like 8-layer, 9-layer creeper farm that actually spits the creepers out of, yes, this statue right there, which we'll talk about that in a second. But because of those cats, phantoms never came inside this circle, which I thought was just a cool accidental bit of additional lore, which was a lot of fun. So yes, this is the Moon Tower, at least it's called the Moon Tower now, by the pirates who live here. We'll get to that part of the base later. We have all of the different structures, and a lot of these were farms that were fully built and fully functional that covered a lot of things. For example, this one isn't a farm. This one is just going to be a sushi bar. But if you go back into here, this is a functional We have pumpkins and everything else back here. A little interior garden in the space. The whole idea that you could press this. Oh, and then you get either a pumpkin or a pie or a cake, which was another kind of randomizer function. What else do we have? This, no, these are not closed. This one down here was my main food source. This is my friend over here, Crusoe Golden Carrots, the secret recipe. I think that's just a random enchanted book. And all the emeralds that I would collect from doing all sorts of different trades. And these little structures, every one of these is just like a single micro farm. This is just a glow lichen farm. Or no, this is for bone meal. The one next to it, this is just where I stored mob heads from all of my different explorations. This is the special mob head that was worn by another skeleton. And yeah, this is just wither roses and wither skulls from my huge wither skeleton farm, which we no longer have. I'm gonna have to build that at some point in the Series 3 world. But all of this, I'm really happy with it. There's a few secrets and stuff around here. There's also this alley, which we were gonna build. This is gonna be all nether materials and a lot darker, kind of like the dark magic, black magic kind of alley and secrets and spookiness for lava farming and just other things that felt a little bit more nefarious or nether-like. The whole thing obviously goes straight out to the water. And then we have kind of the big centerpiece of it, in my opinion, which is the creeper farm, which we need to talk about this thing because I love this build. This is based off of my friend Switchback Mongo. He did something similar where he had a creeper statue and then they would all pop out of the mouth of the creeper. The problem with my version is that they live too long. They live way too long, falling down here and then getting pushed through this water. So I started killing them off right here immediately, and then instead of going down this channel and around to here and then around to and then around to here and then around here and then around this corner and then up and then out, I actually built a secret additional creeper farm. Why is that cat? Oh, there's the cat. But I built a secret creeper farm. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. That's the one block I will fix in the whole world. That this would spawn the creepers that would actually fall through here and then make their way around, so it would be a lot faster. So they would be the ones that dropped out to their deaths, while a majority of the gunpowder was actually processed internally, which was a lot of fun. Oh, we have our carrot farmer. I put them here just so that way there was someone living in the layers. So we had one villager who lived here. I was gonna turn this into an automated carrot farm at some point because there's a lot of them and just never got to it, unfortunately. Underneath, this is, yep, that's just empty. This is where I would do my fishing whenever we got to go fish rewards. This was my AFK house. Just meant to be a nice little decorative house. If I AFK'd right here underneath the stone brick, it was a perfect location for the creeper farm. And there are some caves and stuff underneath me which reduces efficiency, but this was good enough that I was getting all the gunpowder I could ever need. Oh, and then our sheep farm. We should talk about this really quickly. Hold on. So our sheep farm, this is every color of wool, except we have a thing for pink sheep, so we didn't want to show a pink sheep being trapped in the system, so we have a pig in their place. But we still need pink sheep, we still need pink wool, so there is a pink wooled sheep right there, just not one that you would see, so you wouldn't see it be a part of the problem. And then you would come up to here, which is the actual maybe like sales floor for the space, and all of the wool was collected right here. Didn't bother sorting it because just having it there was nice. There was a secret room that I had built off of here, which was just meant to be a little closet, which I ended up not using because death. So that's definitely a thing. So that's the layers. The original idea is they would expand there. We'd have the 3 houses. They kind of expand around the hill a little bit to maybe about there would be the kind of final point of that. And also the cliff would be set up a little bit more to continue the ruins of the moon tower. This is a part of that upper crystal that is still burning how many centuries later after that's all fallen. So that's just impossible to extinguish. This is the dinghy that I started in, and this is what gave me the idea for the Pirate Cove originally. So when I first moved, this was it. Just like I had 2 or 3 shulkers with me, and I swore I was never going back until I completed a certain amount of tasks, and I was really happy with where the base was at. That led to the starter base right here with the little toggleable waterfall. And this place never recovered from chest monsteritis. And we have just a nice little nature space. Oh, we have the Legundo NFT, the only NFT I would ever create. And now you can't even have that in Minecraft, so that's a bummer. So whoever you were that you got it, you own it forever. And it's worthless, just like any other NFT. But we didn't sleep much, but that was to reset spawn. We had a, where are you? Where's Sparrow? Yeah, we had a drowned, well, a zombie with an iron sword who drowned. And we thought about giving them the name Sparrow, since drowned can't normally hold iron swords. So that would be just a nice little detail. And there's no way for them to get up, so they're just constantly walking around in this pool underneath our base. And then we had what was going to be a really cool storage system. The idea is that it was going to be curved. So most storage systems you see, almost every storage system is perfectly flat because that's what makes it easily tileable. I was just going to add additional hoppers to allow me to have the storage system follow the natural curve of this space. So it was still going to be fully auto-sorted. It would just have a lot of extra hoppers involved, and then we'd have this central space for manual decoration and other things along those lines. This was how we were going to encode items for the multi-item storage system. And ultimately, building this storage system, or intending to build it, is what led to my death. That's what organization gets you. But that's why I was caving on the night that I died. That's why I was looking around for redstone and other resources. I know there's other ways to get redstone, and I will likely pursue those in Series 3. But it's funny how once I had to get organized, that's what ultimately killed me. But I love this space. We broke out a few walls. We added kelp in a few places just to make this feel a little bit more like a proper pirate cove. I would have put coral and everything else through here as well, and some other dinghies and small ships and boats. These dripstone spikes are all built off of what is existing places where the stone pierced up out of the ground. We just made it look a little bit more menacing. And then the glowberries, obviously, and all of the nature work, all of the leaves, adding cobble, andesite in different places, just to make the mountain look a little bit more textured and detailing. Also making sure that there was never floating dirt, even though it looks like I missed 2 blocks up there and I will never be able to unsee. Oh, I missed a whole bunch up there. I will never be able to unsee that. But I was really happy with how all of this turned out. There's the iron farm right here, which just looks kind of ominous, but it's a really basic starter iron farm. It doesn't produce a ton, but for how much time I was spending around here constantly building, I mean, it does okay. It does okay. I'm mostly happy with that. Yeah, this is, I don't know what that barrel was even for at that point, but we have barrels and things hidden everywhere. This is the main banner of the Revelry. They chose purple because purple is the color of kings and queens and royalty. So they declared themselves the royalty of the sea, which is why they have the crown in the center as well. The whole idea is that they just use a little bit of gold threading. They have a crown, they have a star above the crown, and then the gold threading around all the edges of their pennants. That was the overall idea for the Revelry, for that pirate faction that moved in here. And then I was going to turn this space up here into like a throne room of sorts, and have kind of a throne that would be surrounded by water, which is why I left all this water right here. Would have closed this up so it wasn't exposed to sunlight, but it would have been surrounded by water, and it would have been made from boards of ships that have fallen. The whole idea is that it would be like kind of like how the Iron Throne is a throne of swords. It would be a throne of planks from fallen boats. I didn't come up with a name for it because the plank throne just sounds super boring, but maybe like the ship's graveyard or something like that. I would have come up with that. I was constantly capturing pillagers too, because I thought pillagers could be pirates. So just having them walking around and not being able to do anything would have been very, very funny. And then we had a little treasure room that I built at one point in time, just to add a little bit more character to the space, having a ton of gold be stored, and I wanted a place to store the actual valuables, the things that I actually cared about. See, we didn't have a ton of redstone, which is why we ended up dying. We had to retire the original Yeet Fork, which was a subathon goal, to turn that in. Oh god, it's more trash. But we had to turn that in and retire that. We never did actually build the new one until we got zoomies in Series 3. There was also a bee that at one point in time just got stuck against the fence here. So that was Lightyear. I don't know where they are right now, but they're chilling off in the space, in the sky. We have, but the whole idea is that this would be loading gold down to the lower docks. This is chests that are meant to be decorative. Oh yeah, that's all my stuff. This is my loadout. So when you spawn in, I think you're probably going to spawn in right here in the world, and I'll write you a book. And that should lead you to this video, which will potentially theoretically be the first. Or this will be the last one. And now you know where all my stuff is. But this would be dropping gold down to boats. We were going to build several. And then this is the pier that I built near the end, recreating and creating this entire natural cliff space and updating it so it looked a lot more up to snuff for what we wanted to do. We finally built a super smelter near the end of this, which this can smelt a decent amount. Again, I didn't go too big with it because I just want to be efficient on overall space. I think it's only 8 modules, but it's still something. So it gets the job done. But there's a few more pennants in a few more places, all designed to push you further in, continue your eye line. Of course, I put this here as a reference to the ongoing multiverse lore and everything else along those lines. That might look a little different to you right now. I will let you do with that what you will. Oh, I didn't even talk about the pirate tavern. Hold on real quick. So the last thing I loved about what we built was what was going to be this pirate tavern. The whole idea is the Totem and Tankard Tavern, because we like alliteration. And we were gonna store a bunch of totems from a potential totem farm, and then a potion brewery back here was the plan of what we were gonna do. We have a bunch of rooms that different people can stay in, and then you can walk through here, and you have kind of like the captain's quarters, which was one of my favorite spots. I think, if I remember right, I filmed the intro to the original Horror Island right here. And that made everybody think that Horror Island was canon in the multiverse. It's not. I just wanted to promote my hardcore world on the Horror Island series. But still, it's fun. It's fun to do little crossovers and nods and things like that. And then we had, yes, we just made a little just spot right here, especially with shaders, that when you're flying in, you have a little bit of contrasting color with the deep slate inside of all of the stone and just the diamonds to give it little flecks of color. Even without shaders, that looks very cool. I like that. And we were always replacing parts of the stone with cobblestone as well to make the cliffs feel a lot more intentional and constructed instead of just only vanilla Minecraft terrain. That is the Bay of Stars, and everything as far as what was in my mind when I was going to build it, everything that I had, some of the explanation behind the different bases and areas and sections of this. I'm doing one video for all of the major builds in the Hardcore Series 2 world. They're all on the Legundo's channel, so make sure to check them out. And if you're wondering, yes, this map is available for download. Link to it is down in the description. Google Drive probably isn't happy that so many people are downloading it, so if you don't get it, you're just gonna have to wait and try again tomorrow. Make sure to check out all the other videos in this playlist, and until next time, take care of yourselves, be good to each other, bye.